People are leaving the Phoenix suburbs, and it is not just the heat. These 7 areas went from hot to not. And if you're thinking about buying here, you need to watch this first. Here are the latest numbers, and they're telling a story that some people don't want to admit. Maricopa County's net migration in 2024 was negative 1,866. More people moved out into other counties than actually moved in, and homes aren't flying off the market like they were before. Median days on market for single-family homes in the Phoenix-Scottsdale area is about 70 days as of mid-2025, and listings are aging. Over 47% of the home listings in the Phoenix area have gone unsold for over 60 days as of April of 2025. That's nearly half of the market that most people would consider stale. And Phoenix's median home sales price as of July of 2025 was about $450,000. Now, this is up about 2.3% year over year, but homes are taking about 63 days to sell. And that is up from about 48 days as of 2024. Now, these aren't small tweaks. They are big red flags. More inventory, slower turnover, fewer people willing to pay what is being asked than a year ago. And this is especially in those farther out suburbs. So which suburbs are heading for the exit ramp first? Here's a quick spoiler. Some of them were the boom towns during the pandemic. Let's start in Buckeye. Once hyped as the next boom town, but then people started to lament the 60-minute commutes and the $400,000 starter homes with dirt lots. And that dream kinda dried up. But this is what got people really excited about Buckeye. They had more space. There was a lower cost per square foot. There were bigger lots, and they loved the idea of actually escaping the core of the city. But here's where it's going wrong. Those savings are shrinking. People have longer commutes, and the infrastructure there is lagging, and some of the services are stretched pretty thin. People expected new schools, grocery stores, and conveniences, and many are still waiting. Here are the signals that we've been seeing. Listings in Buckeye are taking a lot longer to sell. Buyers are demanding concessions, and master plans for the communities are raising expectations that aren't always being met immediately. And because of all these things, here's what people are doing. Some of those people that got out there early are rethinking their stay. Others are selling and relocating closer in. And investors that are still looking in these areas are looking with extreme caution. Now, with any downside, there's always an opportunity. And from what I see, you could still be in a really good position if you bought out there really early. You also have the possible rental market gains if you purchased a home below the market. But here, you are going to have to be patient because you are not going to see those returns immediately. Next up is Queen Creek. Gorgeous views, massive homes, and massive water concerns. Plus, the affordability there has tanked, and the infrastructure is having a really hard time keeping up with the growth. Queen Creek looked like a dream suburb. Modern builds, family-friendly, and lots of new development. What's slipping here is the rising cost of living and the distance to everything, which starts to add up. We're talking for work, for life, and for just everyday living. You can also start to see some stretched public services. Some of the signals here that we've started to see are that resale homes just aren't shooting up in value like they were before. The buyers looking here are a lot more price sensitive. And then we have the old, it's just taking a lot longer for these homes to sell. So what are people doing here? Well, many of them are moving a little closer in just for the ease, while other people are buying smaller homes and just being patient with the slower growth. But here's the opportunity. It's good for renters or investors who can buy a newer home at a decent value. And for those who want to live here, if you are careful picking where you live, this can pay huge dividends. This area is growing fast, so things are coming. You're just gonna have to wait for it. Now we're gonna take a look at Central Phoenix, meaning the downtown, midtown area. And this one stings a little bit because this one was always considered the safe bet for culture, convenience, and prestige. Why do people love the area here? They have short drives, it's in an area that is pretty walkable, you have restaurants, nightlife, and the infrastructure is already present. But here's what's gone wrong. We've seen rising crime in certain neighborhoods here. The homes in these areas are older and therefore require more maintenance. There are also some parking shortages in this area. There can also be a lot of noise and the area is really dense. Also, the cost of maintaining homes here has started to creep up. So, some longtime residents are cashing out. The signals here have been that the average homes in the downtown or midtown area are selling much slower than expected. We're also seeing quite a few price cuts in some of the more competitive zones of the area. And all of this is leading some families to move to the suburbs for schools and larger yards. And many of the people that really want to live in this area are kind of staying renters rather than owners. We're really starting to see a demand for nice but quieter neighborhoods. The opportunity here is if you find a really well-maintained historic home or a neighborhood with long-term appeal, places that are walkable and well-connected. And in those, you can still win in these neighborhoods. But you will definitely be paying a premium for those conveniences. And some are deciding that's just not worth it. Now, Peoria sits somewhere between the inner suburbs and the outer fringes, which historically has been a pretty safe bet. But as of late, that stability is getting a bit tested. People love Peoria because of its access to the freeways and reasonable commutes to just about everywhere. There is also a great variety of homes to choose from. You also have decent school options. What's gone wrong here is some older neighborhoods that need some upkeep, and that expectation from buyers regarding quality is rising. What was acceptable 10 years ago is not really acceptable today. And with the older homes, you have to account for the maintenance cost. The signs here are showing in the amount of time that it's taking for some homes to sell in certain zip codes. Buyers are being more picky, and the appreciation is slowing compared to some of the suburbs that are closer in, that will feel like they have a little bit more of an updated lifestyle. And others are renting until they find something that they really love. Some are even exploring some of the smaller towns right outside of the urban sprawl. Here's some good news. For those who buy smart, meaning good location, great access to things, and great school districts, Peoria is still a great bet. Renovations or homes in better micro areas will also likely hold their value. Here's the other good news about Peoria. The North Peoria area, in my opinion, is going to blow up in the next few years. So while you will still be dealing with some of those conveniences that are not so convenient right now, that will come and that development will explode. Now, when we look at Tempe, it was always close to perfect. You had ASU, there was that cultural pull, and it was centrally located. But perfection comes at a cost, and some are paying too much. Now, people love this area for its walkability, the nightlife, the transit, and all the amenities, and for that central location. But here's what's gone wrong here. There's skyrocketing rents and property costs. It's really hard to find parking here, and there is higher crime in certain zones. There also seems to be constant construction, which leads to noise and more density. Longtime homeowners are starting to feel a little pressure due to less open space and less peace. Some of the shifts here have been that Tempe's property and violent crime statistics have been higher than many other suburbs. This has increased the number of homes for sale, which has led to those really needing to sell needing to drop their prices. And this is leading people to move farther out. And any investors still looking in this location are exploring smaller multi-units so that they can leverage more cash flow options. But with all this, yes, Tempe still has some opportunity. If you're in neighborhoods with transit that are walkable and amenity dense, there is an upside, but you are going to pay a premium for these. Overall, Maricopa County migration is shifting. Some people are leaving, but we still have quite a few people looking to move here, whether that be because of their job or because they love the lifestyle. Those neighborhoods that were booming during the pandemic because they were more affordable are now cooling, because that affordability has gone away. And now those people that would be looking in those areas think to themselves, why would I live that far out? These areas are all still great areas to live, but you have to make sure they are great for your lifestyle. See, not all parts of these suburbs are created equal, and neighborhood nuance really matters. Now, if you want to know all the neighborhoods you should avoid, you're going to want to watch this video. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.